Digital marketing is no different to the used car salesman of old. Everybody's out there hawking their products. Everyone's out there telling you what it is that you should be using and the platform that you need to be on to make your next 7 figures, because I'm sure you've made your first 7 figures online already. So that's one of the things that really drives me insane. You went into business because you had a passion for what you did or what you do, for who it is that you serve, for the people that you're going to help. You didn't go into digital marketing because you actually wanted to become a marketer. But understanding the digital space is really no different to understanding the financials or understanding your books as a business owner. So one of my passions is actually making sure that entrepreneurs and business owners understand the digital space as it applies to them, so that you're not dealing with the FOMO, so that you're not dealing with and paying for courses that you're not going to use or that you don't need, so that you have an understanding that when you decide to put your business online and start attracting your customers, you know where it is that you need to be and what it is that you should be doing when you show up online. So what do you do to avoid that FOMO or fear of missing out? What do you do to stop yourself from being sucked into the next bright, shiny thing that's out there that's going to help you become the next Richard Branson or, one of these big guys out there? The first thing you need to do is have an understanding of who your ideal client is. What that simply means is finding out who it is that you're going to serve. Now, there's a couple of pointers that I often tell my clients when they're actually working out who their ideal client is. They have to, number one, do as they're told, because you're an expert in what you do, not them. They have to pay you on time, because if they don't pay you, you don't have a business, you've got a hobby. They love what you do, because there's nothing worse than working with someone who doesn't appreciate you and what the work that you do with them. And they have to tell everybody about you. So not only that, you'll find that you'll have a certain persona or a certain type of person that you'll attract to you. And having that ideal customer in mind doesn't mean that you're cutting out the rest of the world. All that simply means is that you are unbelievably clear on your message and who it is that you work with. So let me explain why it is that you need to have an idea of who your ideal client is. It's for no other reason than to help you with your languaging when it comes to showing up online. When I did my degree just a couple of years ago, there were 7 touch points on the purchase pathway, which meant that people had to see you 7 times before they started getting to know you, like you, and trust you, and actually giving you their money for your services. Today, with social media, and this is not my statistic, this is actually Google's, there are 22 touch points on the purchase pathway, which means your ideal client needs to see or hear you 22 times before they start recognizing who you are, before they start getting an understanding of how you can serve them and make their lives better, and also 22 times before they trust you enough to actually give you their money. So how do you do that? And how do you do that consistently? Because again, if you don't have your messaging right and you keep showing up on social media and you've got your website and you're talking about 1,000,001 different things, people are not going to recognize who you are. So that's the sole purpose of being so clear on your messaging and so clear on who your ideal client is. And I'll give you an example. If you ask me who my ideal client is, I will tell you that my ideal client is a woman between the ages of 30 and 55 who is a business coach, is an entrepreneur, or a mortgage broker. One of my favorite clients is a 36-year-old male who was a spiritual coach living in Canada. It wasn't that my messaging changed. It was simply the fact that I was so clear on what it is that what I did and how I helped people that message resonated with him. And he signed on for one of my top tier mentoring programs and became one of my favorite clients, because he did what he was told, because he paid me on time, he loved what I did, and he raved about me to everyone that asked him what he was doing differently. And that's what you need as a business owner, is to work out exactly what your message is, so that when you do show up, there is no doubt in people's mind how you help them. So why did I start originally with the digital marketing space as like the used car salesman of old? Because it is so new and most business owners have an understanding of what their passion is and they don't have an understanding of what the digital space is, it's so easy to get sucked in to the latest platform. I mean, how many people have spent hours trying to do TikToks or trying to now do reels on Instagram because somebody's told them that's where they need to be because Instagram or TikTok is the next latest thing. If that's not where your ideal client is, don't waste your time there. So when it comes to digital marketing, you do need to have an understanding of your messaging and your ideal client, because that's going to determine where you are going to show up online. That will determine whether you spend hours creating the perfect layout for your Instagram profile, or whether you spend time on LinkedIn connecting with people and building relationships, because you have an understanding of where your ideal client is. Having an understanding of where you're at and what it is that you should be doing is probably the first step to stopping this fear of missing out, which is what FOMO stands for. And it's that fear of missing out that is fueling an industry where people are doing a 6-week course themselves and putting themselves out there as an expert, which gets to the reason of, why would you listen to me? Because I've spent years studying Google. I've spent years in marketing before the internet was a big deal and it was the be all and end all that we need to run our business. And it's these years of experience and working with business owners and seeing how much money they waste on different website platforms and different marketing courses that they really didn't need because they're not going to use those. As a business owner, you really do need to understand who your ideal client is, who it is that you're talking to, and where it is that you need to show up online. So what really frustrates me is when I work with clients who have spent so much money on other platforms that they really didn't need. Classic case in point was a client who had been told that she needed to be on LinkedIn. She needed the premium package, and she did as she was told. She went out, purchased the premium package, but that's not where her ideal client was hanging out online. She wasn't actually spending time on LinkedIn. So what we did is we actually did some work together and realized that where she needed to be focusing her time was actually working on her Google presence and on her YouTube. Now, if you don't know already, YouTube is actually owned by Google and they are both search engines. And in actual fact, as of this year, close to 83% of everything that's online is actually going to be via video, which is why YouTube became such a big focus for this particular client. So here she was spending X amount every single month on the premium LinkedIn package, where her ideal client was actually hanging out on YouTube. So what we did is work through a strategy and worked at where she needed to be showing up online, worked out exactly how she should be showing up on Google, because whether you like it or not, Google is Big Brother and it is actually the main search engine. It's actually become a doing word. It's become an adjective now. It's no longer a name. You actually go and Google something. So we worked together and actually sorted out her Google presence. And we made sure that the minute somebody typed in what she was doing, she would actually come up online. And then we started focusing on her YouTube. So focusing on those particular areas meant that she was able to let go of the premium package when it came to LinkedIn and just focus on building her client base first, spending time where she was going to start building her business, start making money. And then when she's ready further down the track, if she wanted to, she could jump back into LinkedIn. And that's just one story. And I've lost count of the amount of business owners that do that. They've been told that you need to do this particular course. The amount of business owners that have gone through 2 and 3 websites because they've had it built for them by somebody and they've got no idea of how to run it or how to change anything. So that's where my passion comes in, is making sure that when you actually do something in the digital space, you are actually having an understanding of what it is that you're doing and why. So that when somebody comes to you with the latest shiny object, you're able to have an understanding and say, you know what, I really don't need that car right now. This is what I need to be focusing on. So if you've got subscriptions that you're paying for and you've got courses that are just sitting there and you're just not getting to because you don't have time, let them go. Have a serious look at your business. Have a serious look at what you're actually paying for when it comes to your marketing and when it comes to all the different platforms and services that you've got. And if you're not using it right now, let it go. There's always going to be another platform out there. There's always going to be another latest, greatest thing that you should be on. But for now, as a business owner, you really need to stop. Have a look at what you're spending your money on. Have a look at what you're using. And if they're not balancing out, you need to let go of the stuff that you're not using and save yourself some money. Because that way, when the right thing comes along, you've got the money to spend it on. So if you're like me and you're looking at your bank account and you've got all these weird and wonderful transactions going out, you've got no idea what they're for or even what you're using them for, it's time to start unsubscribing. Start matching up what you're using with what you're spending. Have a look and work out whether it's helping you reach your ideal clients. Is it helping you get in front of your ideal clients? Is this part of your strategic plan? And if it's not, let it go. So you can save time, money, and focus on the things that are important, the things that are actually going to help you grow your business and give you traction and put you in front of your ideal customer, the things that are actually going to help you show up with your consistent messaging so that your ideal client can see and hear you and make the decision that they want to work with you. And remember, it takes 22 touch points on the purchase pathway. So your clients need consistency from you. They need you to show up. They need you to show up on a regular basis with the same message and the same branding so that they can recognize who you are. They can recognize what you do, and they can make the decision that you're the person that they want to work with. So if you'd like to know exactly where you should be showing up online and how to work out who your ideal customer is, I actually have links in the caption where you can download a checklist and start working through exactly who your ideal client is and where you should be showing up online. And with any luck, this will actually save you money, it will save you time, and it'll also keep you focused with where you need to be in the digital space.